Hello, everybody. Welcome to Filmmakers Lab Podcast, where we educate you on the film industry while we're inspiring you to follow your dreams. I'm your host, Lena-Colleen, and this guest that I have today is an important person to me. He is an award-winning writer and director. He's a producer. He is one half of Uncivil War Podcast. He is the CEO of Global Media Savant
Hey,
production company.
hey.
He is also my writing partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was only fitting for him to be my first guest because he is also my family.
Know how family do.
This is Curtis Calmer Brown. We will not do any AKAs today.
Right.
But this is Curtis Calmer
I have a
Brown.
lot of AKs.
Before we get into this, I want to talk about how you have inspired me as a filmmaker. You actually got my first gig with Crystal Claire Roberson on the set of Echo at 11 Oak Drive.
Absolutely. Shout out Crystal.
Yes.
Shout out Crystal.
And you know, I was just getting into the business. I had moved from New York. I was so just, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And you inspired me in the way of being fearless. Don't fear anything. Just do it. You know, and
thank you.
And you threw a lot of positivity behind that. So that really helped me.
Wow. Thank you.
That really helped me. I watched you fearlessly move through the industry, and you were just as green as I was, but
Facts.
I watched you move with no fear, and that helped me a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I feel honored to be the first guest.
No doubt.
So yeah, 11 Oak Drive, that was our first, really both of our first major,
It really was.
you know, working on a feature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like no fear, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know me. You know what I'm saying? You know me personally, you know me, you know. I just don't have that. I don't have fear. Like, I deal with it a certain way. I won't say I don't have it at all, right? I think I have anxiety initially, and then I deal with that at the door. So once I'm greeted with it, that's it. I deal with it right then and there. I think of the worst case. What's the worst thing that could happen in that situation?
Mm-hmm.
And then once I process that, I just move forward. Yeah. And it's a split, and really now it's become like a split second process. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, okay, I got to do this. Now I say, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, yeah, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
You can sneeze.
Yeah, I mean,
fart. Or...
Yeah. It don't matter. It don't matter. Yeah. Sneeze, fart. You know what I'm saying? Hey, something could fall on my head while we're recording. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think like that though. I mean, I literally just go into it just not fearing at all anything.
Right.
I don't even think about it like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, for me, it's second nature. Like, it's a split. It's like I can't really explain it. There's a book called Blink that I've read in the past, and that just talks about the human process of dealing with situations like that. And Blink, it's like everything in your life that, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're making a decision, everything that calculates into that decision happens in a split second, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not like you're compartmentalizing each thing, but it's like all of it comes together and you're like, this is why I'm approaching it this way. And then for me, it's like worst case scenario. I just think of it happens that fast, and then I just move forward. So when I say I have no fear, I may have fear, but I'm not.
You don't let it overtake you.
I don't let it overtake me at all. So
how did you get into the film industry? Did somebody open the door for you? Because you opened the door for me.
Right. So somebody introduced that, as an option to me. So, I came to Atlanta. I was doing music in Atlanta.
Who was that somebody?
So that somebody is Michelle Marion.
Okay.
One of my very close friends, Alan Marion, his sister, Michelle, was already in film. She was doing music videos, Busta Rhymes, Ja Rule. She worked with Hype Williams. She worked on Belly with Hype Williams. She worked on a few films and documentaries and stuff like that. But she's always been on that path.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She was a Howard University alumni and all that, and she was doing that back then. I was on the music path. You know, we were making a name for ourselves on the underground in Atlanta. We had a group called Lotus,
Mm-hmm.
Lords Over Time, Universe and Space. So me and Alan and my boy Mike had this group. We were doing very well. But then, you know, things were just kind of, I don't know. We just got to a certain level in our group, with our group, that we were just thinking outside of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, what else can we do?
Was it the group or was it just you?
It was definitely both.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so Michelle, who I'm very close to, presented an opportunity for me. She was like, hey, I'm doing an NBA All-Star game. She was doing like assistant production. She was APing for the All-Star game. I believe she was APing. She was on the production team. And she was like, would you like to work the NBA All-Star game? I was like, hell yeah. Like, doing what? You know what I'm saying? And it was that year, I remember the year, it was 2001 in DC, and they were honoring the top 50 players in the league. I didn't realize how much of a big deal that was back then, because I was so into music and making a name for ourselves and just doing our thing. I really didn't care about nothing else.
So what capacity did you work in?
So she and that was the thing. I said, well, what am I gonna do? Right. I don't, you know. Right. She was like, well, you know, I know you have she was like, you have retail clothing experience, because I've worked in retail clothing before as a manager. Right. She was like, I was gonna bring you in like as maybe a wardrobe consultant, right? Okay. And in my mind, these are just titles. I don't know what the hell that is. So she was like, I was like, okay, whatever. They're paying for it. You know what I'm saying? I get to meet people. Cool, no problem. Not realizing how many people I would meet, the relationships I would build while I was there, and things like that. And being a wardrobe consultant, I talk to all the talent that comes into the city. So a lot of talent comes into the city, you know, like, you know, bands performing and stuff like that. So I met everybody, met all the top 50 players, met their wives, met met a lot of industry, you know, people. But beyond that, I built relationships, and I met a lot of people that were working on films outside of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because they do it once a year, every year, of course. You know, the All-Star game is once a year. Everybody converges. It's a huge production. So I met a lot of people that way.
Anybody in particular that?
So no one in particular, but honestly, it was Michelle. You know what I mean? Because after that experience, I started talking to her. I was like, so this film thing that you do, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I like film. I like movies. I was like, yeah, I always thought about writing a script. I just don't, you know, she was like, oh, well, you write songs. You write, you know, you tell stories and rap, right? I was like, yeah. She was like, you could write a script. So I never even thought about doing that until she presented that as an option. And I was like, damn, you know what? Yeah, let me try this shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. First script I wrote was horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I didn't have no format. I literally wrote it, but
that's how I wrote it. All of us.
You understand? And then she, you know, helped me with like saying, well, you know, there are script writing softwares, and you know, and then once I started thinking on that level, and I was like, this is something I think I want to do, like for real.
So do you think it's more about talent or who you know?
So I think it's a combination, because you can know all the people in the world and it won't get you anywhere, because they're going to be like, well, what do you have? What are you presenting? What is this? Right. Go back to the drawing board, whatever, right? And it don't matter that you have the relationship with this person. They might get you in, you know, they might open a door for you, but it won't be where you want to be just because you know that person. So, but then you can also be crazy talented, right? Be one of the best writers, because there's a Michael Jordan on the court right now.
Definitely.
And nobody's gonna know.
Right.
know that person because of where they are, the environment, and the opportunities. They don't know the right people to get them where they need to be.
Right.
There's people way better than, Kobe, Jordan, and KD and all that right now. So it's a combination. It's just who you know and talent.
Definitely. I guess and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, environment. I think environment's important to success too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, location. And I just had that conversation with somebody the other day too about, they were like, yo, I think geography is definitely a part of success and that's fulfilling destiny and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I don't think it was those exact words, but you know what I'm saying.
So when you moved to Atlanta, did you think that was a good move geographically?
Absolutely. So I was young when I moved.
Right.
Younger.
And more
when
fearless.
I moved. Yeah, more fearless. Yeah. I think I'm getting more fearless now, but I was more fearless.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Then, and when I moved, the Olympics had just, the Olympics just happened. So Atlanta was being really.
What was that?
Nah, 2000 or I don't know if it was 2000, 99, something like that.
Okay.
No, that was 96. Yeah.
Okay.
So, we were 97, 98. We came to Atlanta.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Of course, I was back and forth during that time, but then, but we were in Atlanta. And we were doing our thing, and Atlanta was hot. Freak Niggas still popping, and Atlanta Live was still going. Kaya, 112.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
SO,
I do.
all of those clubs were popping at that time, and music was huge.
So where was film at that time?
So film was not. So shout out to Will Packer because Will actually started. I think he had Toi at that time. That was one of his first films.
That's right.
And I think Will really was one of the first people to shine a light on Atlanta film, because they were like, oh, this dude's in Atlanta. He went to FAMU, but he was in Atlanta. Like, he did that here.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Drumline was here. I think Drumline, and then that's when Atlanta film just started budding around that time. Just, you know what I mean? It wasn't really
peek it out.
Yeah. And then within that 5-6 year period, it really started getting bigger and bigger. And of course, Tyler Perry started making a name for himself too, with Medea and all of that. Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, but before Tyler Perry, it was Will Packer. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Perry had his plays. Yeah. But as far as film, that was Will.
Much respect to Will Packer.
Yeah. And that's so
much respect.
That's somebody
to Tyler Perry,
that I look
Will
to
Packer.
as well too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch gears real quick. You mentioned software, and I want to get into the aspects of writing. All the different aspects of writing, not all of them, but as many as we can cover. So you mentioned software, and of course in the beginning, you test the waters because the software that Hollywood is, that's the Hollywood standard, is the Final Draft, and it was so expensive at one time. Everybody's like, okay, how do I get a crack copy? Yeah. I can't pay for this, but now it's affordable, which I think is dope.
To filter out who's serious about doing this.
Yes, for sure. Yes, for sure. Right. So, which one do you prefer and why?
I prefer Final Draft because I've been using Final Draft for a long time.
Definitely.
I've tried Celtic.
Yes.
Celtic is actually very easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has as many functions as Final Draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why Final Draft is the industry standard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It has storyboard and all that.
Storyboard has everything.
Index cards.
And they do improve every year. Like, whenever they come out with a new Final Draft, there's lots you could do.
Yeah.
Like a lot more you could do. Like
collaboration too.
You can voice, you could speak, you could voice your script, like speak text, like how you do speak text now, which I kind of like that function, kind of don't, because I'm checking it anyway. I'm going back to check to see if they did it right or not. So
Right.
I might as well just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but anyway.
But you know what else is good too? Where you can assign the names,
Yeah.
assign the voices to your characters.
Exactly.
That's
I like
pretty
that.
cool too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because then you can hear it back.
I think that's the new that.
It
I think
is.
it's the newest. That's the newest one.
That's
because I don't think I don't think 11 has that. Yeah. So
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It
dope.
is what it is. But also, what I like about the final draft is you can download the software. You don't. It's not internet based.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I think that internet based to me is a little sketchy because now your stuff is on the internet and it's making it easier for somebody to take. Think about it.
Everything's
really
on the internet, and everything is
but not that final draft. You can download
Yeah.
that. You can do
Yeah.
that offline, so you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about somebody stealing your work.
Yeah. True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So that's
Yeah.
another reason.
I hear
why
what you're
like
saying.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Outlining.
Mm-hmm.
Do you outline?
Sometimes. So it depends
Why?
on the project. It depends on the project.
Why?
Well, outlining. So to me, and to me, it helps. It makes the process go faster.
Yes, it does.
So it makes the process go faster.
Yes, it does.
You know, outlining is really just like your own personal blueprint. It's kind of like a business plan.
It's exactly what it is.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a business plan. You know,
But it's for you.
yeah, act 1 is, you do your beat sheet and, beats being incidents and your sequence of events and
Right.
stuff like
Them
that.
plots
And
and
then you
everything.
just outline everything. So when you start writing, it's all right there.
Exactly.
Like I find it to be of great advantage. But when I don't, the only time I've not, I don't know. You know what? I outline most of the time.
I know you do. That's why I'm
I
like,
have to
what?
say I have
Yes.
to say like 90% of the time. And if I'm
Did
not
you
doing
outline
it,
the beautiful ones?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, do me a favor. Tell me what the difference is between a log line and the tagline. A lot of people get this messed up.
Yeah. Well, basically, logline is just a summary. It's a short summary of your whether it be your film or episode if you're doing television series.
Mm-hmm.
And a tagline is just that. It's a one-liner. It's like be all you can be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And-
Or Friday, maybe Friday night, Friday the 13th. Jason's back is the tagline.
Right.
Right.
You see that on the poster.
Yeah, you'll see that on the poster. It's just quick.
Right.
But your log line is.
Where do you see that?
Yeah, your log line is basically 1 or 2 sentences about the project,
It's your
about the
description.
film, or
Right.
yeah, right.
So you would see it like on Netflix when you see the description.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I know it. But,
yeah.
just
Of
want
course.
everybody
I mean,
to know.
this is for you.
Exactly.
You know.
Character bios. So the first time
That's
I
everything.
ever heard anybody speak about character bios was Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And it shocked me because so many people don't know how important that is.
Yes.
Like your characters
It's everything.
need their bios so you know how they speak, how they walk, how they talk, what they believe in, what they don't
It's
believe
everything.
in. Right?
It's everything.
It is everything.
Tarantino's huge on that, and that's why his films are so great,
No
because
doubt.
his characters they have their life. There's no second guessing about his characters,
Mhm.
and his characters are so like big. They're
Mhm.
all big. There's no small characters in his films. You know what I mean? Because he has a bio. He has a background on the story. He created a real person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just, I'm just going to write this in and, it's not surface. You know what I mean?
Of
It's not
course.
surface.
Mm-hmm.
So, like each character in Pulp Fiction, they had a whole background, like Travolta,
Right.
Samuel Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
like even you don't, and the crazy thing about bios or character breakdowns or character backgrounds is you don't always see the character's whole life. You
No.
won't, there's parts of the character that the writer developed that you'll never know about on
Right.
screen.
Right.
And that's not a waste. what it does,
it's not a waste because it the character is going to act in that way.
there you go.
You understand?
Yeah.
If the
You
character,
made him real.
you might not ever know that your character is an atheist, but he's
Right.
going to act a certain way.
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
And
the point.
it's so crazy to me why people don't understand how important that is, because every character should not have your voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every character should not have your voice.
Yeah. A lot of amateur
your
writers.
Nuances.
Yeah,
yes.
a lot of amateur writers do that because
Exactly.
they're like, you know, they talk, their characters talk like they talk.
Yeah.
And I catch that a lot too, because and I've caught that in major feature films that have come out.
Yes.
Where one character will use a term and then later on in the film, this is another character that's not even friends with that main character. We'll use the same term. And I'm like,
yeah,
the writer was lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's not why would you that's a coincidence that they're using the same terms?
Totally.
No. You know what I'm saying?
Do you use index cards?
I have. And sometimes I do. I think when I partner with people, I'll use them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like traveling from place to place, and you know, sometimes I'm not just doing it remotely. Like I'm like, oh, you know, let's get a writing session going,
No doubt.
or I'll come into a writer's room or something like that, and I'll bring index cards, or we'll do a writing, you know, a board. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I don't use index cards,
Okay.
but those are helpful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a breakdown of your outline.
Breakdown of your outline, and
Do you get writer's block?
Yes.
How do you overcome it?
Keep writing.
No doubt.
So yeah, you just keep writing, because you know, if I get stuck on something, what I've learned is if you keep writing, and meaning, okay, if you're a writer, first of all, you're gonna have several different things that you're working on at the same time.
Yeah.
So put that down, go through something else, and start writing. You know, continue writing on that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then it'll loosen up your creative flow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, I just keep writing. Sometimes I'll take a walk. Sometimes I'll listen to music and just take a break, and you know, I always meditation that helps.
But you do listen to music though.
Absolutely.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That helps.
So and just move around, because a lot of times when you're writing, you're still, you know what I'm saying, and you're not,
for sure,
you're just still, it's you and your laptop, and you're just like,
right.
You're just sitting there. Nah, just move around. Do something different.
Yeah.
Call somebody and talk about something totally different. Phone a friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know.
Right.
And then come back to it. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just keep writing. If I don't want to do any of those other things, I'll just start working on something else.
Do you have a writing routine?
Yes, I do. I have.
Do you think it's important to have one?
I think whether people know it or not, I think everybody has one.
Yeah.
They just don't realize it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's certain things that you do,
But I mean, do you have like a strict, like, I get up, I write? Because I know a lot of famous writers, they only write in the morning time, because that's when they're most
I mostly write at night, and I write at ungodly hours in the night. Most of the time, like seriously, because
I know, because you called me.
But I'm gonna tell you, true. Well, I'm gonna tell you, part of the reason I write so well at night, I know that's the best time for my creativity. I realized that through the years. I never knew why that was, but it's because your mind is less resistant then. During the day, you're thinking about everything, and your mind is more open and less resistant to new thought or ideas and stuff like that. You're always, that's why you're
think
close.
That's typical
you're getting
for
close,
everybody,
close
or
to
just
dream.
you?
I think that's typical for most people.
Okay.
Like that's just that's human chemistry or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like that's, your mind is in a different state during that time, or it should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're up during certain hours when you should be sleeping, when you should be in theta state or whatever state of thought, that's when you know, you
Most
get those
creative.
most creative. And then sometimes I'll just think of an idea and I'll hard write it. Like I'll be trying to go to sleep and ideas just keep coming and I'm writing them while I'm, you know, trying to go to sleep. I have my nightstand, whatever, and I'm just writing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I use the index cards for that.
Oh,
I have
okay.
index cards on my nightstand
Gotcha.
for that.
Yeah.
To catch the ideas.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's, nighttime is definitely
What's
the
the
best.
WGA?
It's the Writers Guild of America. So Writers Guild of America basically is a way to protect your work. You would submit a treatment to them or even a full script, and basically they'll give you a registration number. So if somebody tries to take your work, they will, we have it stamped like this is when it was registered. This is the description of the work or the actual work. So that way in a court of law, if you bring that to court, there's proof. You know what I mean? So it's like another form of copyright. The difference with copyright, one of the differences with copyright is, automatically, if I go to court, if I'm taking you to court, automatically $250,000 is going to be rewarded to me if no matter what, like you lose, that's the minimum.
Right.
Like automatically I'm going to be rewarded. I don't know if it's 250, but I think that might have changed, but either way, it's like music. You know what I mean? And think about this. When you used to see those films and it has the warning and you saw that 250,000, whatever, boom, 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 copyright infringement, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
That's really what that is. It's like, okay, do I want to take a chance on, and knowing that if I lose, I'm at minimum, I'm gonna owe this, so it's a solid protection of your work.
Right.
And WGA is great.
And copyright is backed by the FBI as well.
It's backed by the FBI.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's I think it's a stronger, you know what I mean? Stronger protection. But WGA is great because it's not expensive. It does stand up, and it does not matter. Like the thing about WGA, which is crazy, it's like, let's say we worked on something and we emailed each other back and forth. We have text stamps, we have email stamps and everything, right? We come up with this great idea, treatment or whatever.
I know what you're about to say.
Right? Then somebody catches wind of it. They're like, yo, that's dope. Yeah, look, I'm gonna do that idea. And they do the same idea and they get a WGA. They register it. And we didn't register that. We didn't register it.
It's theirs.
It is theirs. Yeah. It don't matter what emails we bring to court. It don't matter if we show the text messages. A lawyer is not even gonna mess with you. They're gonna be like, did you register it?
Yeah.
Did you copyright it?
Yeah.
What did you do for protection? Well, I could show you that we've been working on it years before this person. Don't matter.
I know.
The day that whoever registered it first, it's theirs.
Yeah, true indeed.
And I've had work stolen from me.
So have I.
Like more than once. You think I would learn, right?
Right.
No, but I have learned.
Because you
learned.
think you're doing it and you tell one person, but then you tell another person and then that's it. You can't. Like,
you know what?
You have to keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Well,
as long as you can.
Here's the thing about keeping it to yourself too. Just register it because you're going to have to have to speak about it.
Yes.
You are going to have to speak about it.
And nowadays, when you're trying to put your work out there and
you have to,
you say to someone that is trying to put you on,
right,
sign this NDA,
right,
automatically they're turned off. Like,
right.
Okay, so what? You're telling me this work is not registered? What's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you're supposed to put that registration number on your script. So for anybody that doesn't know that, you need to put it on there in the left-hand corner underneath your information. That needs to go there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In the world of Google and everything else, like YouTube and Google.
But you'd be surprised. I just told somebody this the other day.
Man, come on.
They didn't even know to register their script.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, that's why this platform is like a great platform.
And you're talking
important.
about someone who graduated college for this.
Right.
They have no idea what the WGA is. I'm just
What
saying.
college did they go to?
I don't know. I'm not putting it out there like that. So listen, and it was somebody that was in my writer's room. So
Right,
look,
right.
how does the writer's room operate?
The writer's room is great. So
It's dope.
the writer's room is dope.
It is dope.
So, well, coming off of a writer's room, I've run a couple of writers' rooms and I'm running one now for a show executive produced by Ian Burke. If you don't know who Ian Burke is, he's, one of the founders of like TLC, Escape, big, Atlanta groups. He's behind a lot of those groups. So I'm running a writer's room for him. And actually when we leave here, I gotta head over there. But the writer's room is basically a think tank, right? It's essentially a think tank. You have a show idea, series idea, and you have an outline of the episodes, right? And basically because think about this, it's a whole series, right? You're not going to have one writer for a whole series. It's unrealistic. Right. You have a lot of voices, a lot of characters in a series.
So you're just talking about a series.
I'm talking about series, and I mean this works for features.
Yeah, but
you can have a writer's room for a feature.
Of course, because we're doing one now,
right?
Even for a short,
exactly.
But it operates. Or for a short. It operates different,
right?
Because we don't need a story Bible and all those other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, it's basically how I run the room. I pretty much. According to the show, depending on the show, you want particular certain writers in the room,
right?
Because if it's a coming of age, you want writers to be around that certain age, or to have to be relatable to that.
Definitely.
To that subject.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
So, we all come in the room, boom, an outline. And here's where outline is super important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially in the writer's room. You have your outline, you present the outline. We all develop characters. We for me, I'm playing Phil Jackson, and I have my Bulls, my Chicago Bulls team. I know who my Rodman is, I know who my Pippen is, and I'm like, hey, so this, I want you to speak to this character. You speak to that character. Maybe two of you will speak to another character. You know what I'm saying? And I start with character development.
Okay.
And then after character development, we'll look at the episode, whether it be the pilot episode, first episode, or whatever, and then we'll discuss the first episode. We'll all throw ideas out. We leave it open for everybody.
Do you discuss dialogue as well?
We discuss dialogue as well.
Okay.
So, but character development will it helps with dialogue,
definitely.
Of course. You know what I mean? Because
but
your character.
Do you get that specific?
Yeah, we do. Because so here's the thing. I've been in some writer's room where it's a war.
I know.
Because everybody's fighting for a line.
Right.
Like, oh, I think they should say this. It'll be cool if they do this. It'll be cool. So then we have the discussion. Okay. It'll be cool, and that sounds good, but would that person say that?
Right. It doesn't make sense to the
It doesn't
plot.
make sense.
And,
The writer's room I'm in that I just told you about, I have a writer, and I'll shout her out, Diane Coleman. She reminds me of you.
This is not aquatics.
It is.
It's aquatics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diane Coleman. No, it's okay.
I just said the name.
It's okay. It's all right. Diane
Come on
Coleman,
now. You
right?
did me like that.
Look. Diane Coleman reminds me of you because, and you know how I feel about you. I feel like you're super smart. You're very analytical.
And she gets on you
You're
every time,
very observant. Not just me. It's not me. It's the room.
Yeah. It has
And
to
she's
make
like,
sense.
yeah. She's very analytical. And she's like, okay, well, why would she be mad at Zach? And just, 2 days ago
Somebody
they were
has to be the
blah, blah,
devil's
blah. Like,
advocate.
and she's like, does
Somebody
that make
has
sense?
to be that person.
I'm like,
Somebody has to
I
be
love
that
it.
person.
I love it. So, yeah, rooms are great.
Yeah.
Rooms are great. It keeps the integrity of the show,
Definitely.
right? Keeps the integrity. It's necessary because everybody can't, you can't have a series and one person's writing the series.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Do you prefer Zoom or do you prefer in person?
both.
Okay.
So I think Zoom, I more so prefer in person. I'm a very hands-on person. I like being with you.
I do
You know what I'm saying?
I do too.
I like
Yeah.
the energy is just different. I prefer, but I'm not against Zoom. I like Zoom. And it definitely comes in handy, but I prefer being in person.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I just feel like again, the energy is better. I think ideas will come through better. I think people, because we're all in the same room connecting and vibing, having fun. And really, I like to have fun in the room because it opens up creativity. Definitely. I don't like a stiff room. I don't like,
Well, you're not a stiff person. So.
Yeah, well, so, yeah,
you leave that to me.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best book? I know it's not just one best book, but what book do you think was the best for you as a writer? And I know what you're going to say.
Well, you may or may not.
I have an idea.
Story,
yes,
by Robert McKee, to me is like one of the best books.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the writer's Bible.
It's the writer's Bible.
Yeah.
I use it as a reference book because it is a thick book, but it's not a boring book either.
No.
Like, even if you're not a writer and you start reading this book, you're going to be like, Robert McKee is, the way he breaks down writing and everything, incredible.
It makes it easy.
Because he's talking about principles, but then he's also, allowing you to, he's like, you can be creative and free, but you still got to know the principles. Principles allow you to be more free. So once you really get because there are principles, there's laws of writing.
Yes, they are.
You know what I'm saying? So if you know the laws,
yeah,
you can break them.
Yeah,
you can't break the laws until you know the laws.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for real.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a dope book. And
totally
Crystal,
agree.
actually one of my early mentors that we were talking about,
Yeah.
Crystal Roberson, she put me on the story.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. She has a good grasp of it.
Storytelling.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah, she's working on. She's one of the directors of Queens, All American. All American got picked up for another season. So
she just wrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just wrapped, but they just got picked up again for another season. So that's pretty dope.
It's
Shout
so
out
cool to see
to Crystal and the cast
rise,
and the crew.
Right? Yeah.
It's real dope.
Love it.
I'm happy to see her where she's at.
Yeah.
Because we worked on that feature, on one of her early features, Echo at 11 Oak Drive. You know what I'm saying, with Rockman Dunbar, and look at her, look at where she's at now, right?
No.
So
dope.
And I will be working on a project with her. I cannot really talk much about that, but I can talk a little bit.
Listen, we'll get back to that. I want to jump to another aspect of filmmaking that I know that you're familiar with, and that is producing.
Right.
What is the role of a producer in pre-production? Because I think that is where they're most used.
Right.
They're used in production as well, and they're used in post as well too. But I think pre-production is the meat of where producers actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, it's getting your team together. Really, it's getting your team together, understanding the project completely, and getting the right people together. So really,
Definitely.
I always compare, because I have a music background, you already know, I always compare film production to music. And I'm like, when people say, yo, Diddy didn't produce that, you know what I'm saying? Like, Diddy don't produce tracks. Just because he didn't get behind the board and actually make the beat, that doesn't mean he didn't produce it. He bought the engineer,
together.
He bought the artist, he bought the,
but a lot of people don't know what you know.
Yeah, he bought and sometimes it's a writer. He bought the writer, he bought the engineer, he bought the artist, and he orchestrated the whole, he brought everybody together and created the blueprint for how we're moving forward. Exactly. And that's pre-production. Same thing. I'm getting the casting director. I'm getting the the writers. And sometimes I most of the time I'll be the writer, or I'll write and co-write.
Right.
I'm getting the AD, I'm getting the casting director, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting the people, the components, the editor, and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's not even just about, we're going to find, you know what I'm saying? Let's just put a team together. You got to get the right team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to get a winning team. So it's like,
it has to be cohesive.
We're shooting a drama series.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a director that has done mostly comedy or only comedy, even though comedy and drama, actually you could. So let me give a different example. You're not going to get a, director that does horror or sci-fi or something like that to do your drama or comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like getting the right people, getting the right editors, right? Like if I know my film is like a fast-moving, fast-paced film, you know what I'm saying? I might mess around and get an editor that has only edited music videos because they're used to that speed.
Know what it is.
You know what I mean? So it's like being smart in that way when you bring these people together.
But what about people for the production as well?
Exactly.
You have to have the cohesiveness in that as well.
Cast and crew. Yep.
Yeah, because you can get some real a-holes out there and just mess up the whole morale.
Yeah. Well, everybody's disposable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everybody's disposable.
I know.
Because the project becomes bigger than you.
For real.
Even me, if it's my project, I'm disposable.
Definitely.
It's my project. The project will get bigger than you.
Yeah.
And it can, and it should. You want it to. You want it to get that big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been on projects or have created projects that have gotten that big where I had to reconsider my role in it. You understand? Like, I wrote it. And this is me. This is early me.
No doubt.
Not knowing much about film, thinking just because I wrote it, I have total control of the, like,
you have no
unless I'm
director,
unless I'm executive producer, I'm the money, I'm the producer, and I'm the director.
Yeah.
I don't have control over that.
No,
like,
you don't.
You basically are just selling. It's like not selling, but you're optioning your film to be made.
A lot of people don't know that writers don't get invited to the set.
Right.
There's no need for you there.
Yeah, there's no reason for the writer to
once
be
you sat down with the director and they know what your vision is, that's it.
Yeah.
Unless you're the
writers
director.
Get salty about it because they're like,
I mean,
they want to see their vision being brought to life. They're like, yo, why I can't come to the set.
Yeah.
But you
you can,
but you know what? You can negotiate that.
You can, but you can't say much. You know?
Yeah.
You can't. You gotta be the observer. So how do you know how much a movie costs? How do you know about budget?
Your treatment will tell you how much the movie costs.
How's that?
And the treatment is just a raw breakdown of your film, right? So it's your film without dialogue. But what it does, with the treatment, your treatment is your film with minus the dialogue. So you're telling the whole story. But how you know cost, how it's related to treatment is you see what's in the film. Are there any explosions?
Right.
How many locations are there? What kind of props are we having?
Right.
What actors are we do we have attached, or are we trying to get attached?
Right.
You got to look at every element. Like when you do a script breakdown, that'll tell you even more.
Definitely.
Right. But you can tell just from treatment about how much the film should cost. And one thing I don't like about Hollywood right now, and Marvel and different films right now, I believe they're doing less story and more money. They're putting money. Oh, this film cost $200 million to make, and blah blah blah, and they're putting all this money behind it. But where's the story? Where's the excitement? Like, there might be there's a lot of explosions and action, but then you look at the raw story. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Robert McKee. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about story.
Right.
It really mostly is about story. So you can have like your microwave Chinese dinner or whatever, and it's just gonna go right through you. You're gonna be like, you get stimulated for that hour and 45 minutes, or 2 hours or whatever, and then you leave the theater like, okay, yeah, that was cool. But nothing stays with you.
Yeah.
I like films that the shit stays with you. And those films usually are super low budget. Get Out stayed with me. Watching Get Out, that shit stayed with me. I was like, yo, what was that I just watched?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That wasn't a high budget film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
how do you get your funding?
So there's no one way to do it. There's no, blueprint. You know what I mean? Funding could come from anywhere. So you find investors, and I found a lot of times that the investors that are not in film are your best investors because they're not wanting creative control. They're not wanting to control your project. They're not wanting to say, hey, because I'm the EP and I'm the executive producer, we should do it this way or blah, blah, blah. Remember, I'm the money. They're
how do you find those people?
They're out there. They're out there. So you build relationships. It's networking. It's building relationships.
Okay.
It's networking.
Gotcha.
It's inviting. It's when you're working on your smaller projects, inviting people with money, doctors, lawyers, business owners, to your smaller film projects, right?
That's an aspect I never thought about.
Your screenings, your screenings. Invite them to your screenings and let them see what you do,
right? And
then a lot of times they'll come to you and be like, "What are you working on next?" Like, well, we're trying to get funding for this. How much do you need? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times it happens like that, and it's building relationships. That's really it. It's networking. It's putting it out there. Like sometimes creating a sizzle for a potential project that you have and using social media, which is huge, putting it out there, for people to see will generate, I believe in crowdfunding too. I think crowdfunding is good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end all be all. I don't think it's like, a lot of people completely depend on it. But I think, like I said, like that's the benefits of doing like shorts and smaller films is because that's like your calling card for your work. Look, we did this with $10,000. So give me a couple million. See what I can do. Because that $10,000 short looked like I spent, you know what I mean? It looked like an excerpt from a $10 million film, don't it? They're like, yeah, it does. It's a great film. And you shot that well.
Right.
Yeah. So in order for me to bring that to the big screen and create a bigger project, I need funds. So if you can help me, please, kind sir, with the, you know what I'm saying? And you don't got to do it all yourself. You can have investors. There's like a lot of executive producers, like you see several.
So that's what an executive producer's role is.
They're the money.
A lot of people don't know that.
They're the money. Yeah. So either they invested themselves or they partnered with somebody or they brought money to the table. They brought money to the project. Right. Those are EPs, executive producers.
Is the producer responsible for casting?
No. The producer, well, yes, directly or indirectly. I would say the producer will bring on a casting director. So
you've casted before.
Right.
And you've casted some people that have gone on to do some big things.
Yeah, thank you.
Just speaking to my actor friends and such, what is the best advice you can give someone that is going for an audition?
To know your part. Talking about what? Your actors, like actors going for a part, coming to read or coming. Okay. Yeah, know that part inside out, live that part all the way up till you have to do the audition. Live that character. Like literally. You know what I mean? And don't be afraid to take chances. Like what we give you, like the side we give you to read, the side, the actual
know it.
Yeah, know it.
Yeah.
But also don't be afraid to take chances.
But what were you looking for? What
Are you talking about when I did Millennials?
Yes.
Or okay,
Because
so
how many of your actors in that are doing big stuff? Mike Merrill,
yeah, yeah,
Terrell, who else?
yeah.
It's
There's a few. There's a
Josie.
few. Josie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Chloe.
Chloe, yes,
Starting
Chloe
to.
Stafford,
Chloe, yeah.
yes. Like what did you see in them? Like what you
You
know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
It's
Because
crazy because
millennials,
you
I mean,
saw the turnout we had for the casting.
I
Like we
did.
had a lot of people.
You did.
So during that time I was working, I had a co-producer, Hattie, and she, her and I both, were very tapped into the characters we wanted, right? We knew the characters. Like, we already developed, they were fully developed characters at that point. So we're like, me personally, I was like, you know what? It's a vibe. So like me casting for the alpha male character that we had, you know what I'm saying, of the group. And so, when they came to read, it really was more of an energy. You understand? Not what they were saying. Of course, I wanted you to come off, read the lines right and come off a certain way, but it was the energy and the feeling, more so the feeling, because I'm looking at them like, this is what I'm going to be watching when I see this on television.
Definitely.
Like when I see it on the screen, this is exactly what I'm going to be watching. I don't go into it saying, oh, we could work with this person. No, I want to feel that character from jump. So that really, each of those characters that we chose, we both felt it right away.
Did
it was
you
like,
have a clue that they would move on to be, you see what I'm saying? Like, did that star quality, because they were all brand new.
Right.
Did you see that potential?
Terrell, yes. With Terrell, yes.
Yeah.
Terrell,
Well,
I knew Terrell was going to be.
He studied.
I knew Terrell was going to be huge,
Yeah.
and I
He's
felt
college,
like, I felt like when he read, I was like, yo, there's no way we're not going to use him.
Right.
Like there was, and a lot of people read for that part.
Yeah.
So Terrell instantly, there was something about Josie, you know what I mean? Like his energy and he definitely fit that character perfectly. But I also felt like he had a lot more in him. I could tell he was seasoned, like he's been doing this.
Yeah.
But more so his personality.
Yeah.
After that audition, his energy personally was like, wow, this kid, man, he is incredible. And he was worldly too. Lived all over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, just had different experiences.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he was my favorite.
Yeah.
He was my favorite.
He was my favorite too.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. So, but yeah. So.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to start to ask you some more personal questions.
Okay. Yeah.
But they will be related to the film.
Let's go.
So what does a typical day look like for you when you're in producer mode?
Yeah, when I'm in producer mode, a typical day. That's a good question. Depending on where I am in the projects that I'm working on, it really depends. Like today I'm in producer mode, so you know what I'm saying. Like I'm well, I won't say producer mode, but I'm definitely in filmmaking mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I knew I had a podcast today, so I'm like, okay, interview today. I was like, okay, let me prepare for that, right? So there's things I do to prepare.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I definitely meditate in the morning, but I also just to clear my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you find it hard to switch from writer to producer?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't find it hard to switch. Me personally, I don't. But in producer mode, it's more, it's managing your team. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I might call my writers. I might call, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Check on them, like, where are you at in this process?
Right.
I might call a casting director if I'm casting. Where are you at in this, you know,
Right.
and how can I help?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I can help, how can I help? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you do have to know a little bit about each task, each position.
Yeah.
Because you can't delegate what you don't know.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, how can I help?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do expect you to do the job. Like, I'm not stepping in and doing the job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, but that's what I do. I just, you know, depending on what part of the process I'm in, that's what I'm focusing on.
It's different from day to day.
So it's different from day to day.
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
like today, I'm getting with you. I'm also meeting I got with you for Filmmakers Lab. I'm meeting our director for the television series that, so I have a writer's room, but we're not going to be writing in the room. We're really just going to be speaking with the director, you know what I mean, and being introduced to the director.
Okay.
And I also have I do have a writing session and writing room with one of my partners of a film short that I completed, and about this new project that we're doing, which is a feature.
Is that Amanda
so I got to get
Rosario?
with her, Amanda Rosario. Yeah, shout out Amanda.
Yeah.
Amanda
Shout out
Rosario
my girl.
Glass. Shout out.
So what is it about filmmaking that keeps you doing these long sets? Because these sets can get crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we was on set one time for 20 hours.
20. Yeah. Yeah. I've been on the set for 20 hours before too.
I know for
What
me,
keeps you
I
on
love
there?
the process.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta love it. That's the thing.
That's the dope
You have
part.
to love it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me is like, yo, if you don't, there ain't no way you're gonna keep doing that if you don't love it.
You're right.
Period.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me. And just, just really being open to the experience and being open to new experiences, you know what I mean, as well, because each day is something different. You know what I mean? Like, you set out to do this job, this project, and yeah, it requires a lot sometimes, like with the hours and stuff like that. But I always look at every day as your whole life can change in an instant, right? So that anything can happen today.
Right.
You don't know what's gonna.
True.
And that should excite you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can meet somebody that can completely change your life, or take your project to another level, or maybe it has nothing to do with film. It could just, you can meet, you can meet the love of your life. You know what I'm saying? That day. Not that you're looking for that, but just being open to the possibility of anything happening.
Yeah.
So that really keeps me, and I'm passionate about what I do. So if you ain't passionate about it, you're not going to want to do it, because there are times, especially in production, principal production, or whatever, just production,
things are going to go wrong.
Things are going to go wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to have to stay on the set longer.
Yeah.
You spend almost your whole day there. You're away from your family. If you have a family, you're not doing anything leisurely. You're working. But,
So on the flip side, as a writer, we spend a lot of hours isolated and, away from people. Are you, like, how do you cope with that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that as far as, like, relationships?
Right.
Do you find it an advantage to be in a relationship or a hindrance?
No, I find it to be a challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, and yeah, it is a challenge. And I'm very upfront about that part of it, because I'm like, look, this is what I'm doing. If you can rock with that and you good with that, then and it's like, it's not one of those, don't hit me with, oh, you make time for things you want. No, it's not like that. I'm making time. This is what I want to do. And yes, I want to be with you too. Yes, I want to spend time with you too. I'm just letting you know our time is limited. So if you can deal with that, we can go forward.
Got you.
You
Do you
know,
think this is your life's purpose? You think this is your
I think it's one of my life purposes. I think we have multiple purposes.
Got you. And who inspires you
To just in general?
No, as it relates to film. Who inspires you?
So you inspire me, for sure, most definitely. You do.
Do I?
You do. Yeah. And especially on the writing side, you inspire me. Crystal Roberson was a huge inspiration for me. Diane Ashford, just seeing their dynamic, how hard they work.
Definitely.
Quentin Tarantino, as far as style, because Global Media Savant is the fabric of our film is pop culture, and Quentin Tarantino to me is like the epitome of pop culture films.
Right.
So those are my children. You know what I'm saying? My children. My daughter now wants to be a filmmaker. I did not push her to make that decision.
No, she's dope too.
She graduates this year from high school and she wants to go into film. So that, as a father, you know what I'm saying, that obviously that makes me super happy and proud. You know what I'm saying? So those are all my inspirations.
What you working on? 15 awards. 15 awards for Unordinary Love.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I think it's more than 15, but
dope,
I stopped counting.
Come on. I mean,
and probably like over 20 selections.
I think it's the first time I can say that I'm in competition with you.
Look, we ain't in competition. Never that, because you know I support you 1,000%.
Oh, I support you 1,000%.
So, and everybody has their own lane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do what you do. I do what I do. Sometimes we work on things together, and we have.
Definitely.
You helped bring that Unordinary Love to fruition. You know what I'm saying? You were the script supervisor.
It was
for
fun,
that.
Yeah.
So and that's important. But
no doubt.
I am working with the same producer, Amanda Rosario Glass, and myself produced it, directed it, and wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on a feature right now. I can't really shoot the title out there, but we're working on a feature right now that gives you the feeling of like a modern day Ghost,
but it's
like
in the
Patrick
same
Swayze
vein,
Ghost
and I think
or something like
dope.
that. But also like. It's weird. It's a hybrid of a film.
But it's in the same vein of Unordinary Love.
It's love.
And I think that's dope. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have the theme of love going on.
Yeah,
here,
and I think I compare it to the Power series.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not in the the bigness of it, but just the genius of taking that.
Yeah,
love
and expanding on that, like the branding of that particular.
That's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart. That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I partner and surround myself with very smart people. You know what I'm saying? So
Global Media Savant.
Yep, Global Media Savant is we're a film production company, and we focus on pop culture. Telling stories through pop culture films and relating to, like telling stories, telling it's about story again. You know what I'm saying? Telling stories that really haven't been heard before, or at least in the way we're telling them. You know what I'm saying?
Unorthodox.
And we're working on right now. We're working on getting funding for a feature. It's a very nice feature.
The Beautiful Ones.
The Beautiful Ones. And I could say the name. I'll put it out there. The feature's called The Beautiful Ones. We're getting funding for that. It gives you a Purple Rain feel, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like your modern day Purple Rain, but it's just going to be a lot hotter.
Dope.
Yeah.
Dope. I wanted to talk about Atlanta, but we don't have a whole lot of time. I wanted to talk about Atlanta.
Oh, that's my show. Donald Glover.
You want to talk about that real quick?
Just real quick. Real quick. All right. Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
I mean, that first episode was like
of season 3. Yeah. Donald Glover
really put
is brilliant.
A lot of thought into that. And it being, I don't want to spoil it for people, but I mean, that is something
it's out there now. So
yeah, but that Child Protective Services and that whole,
Yeah.
you know how I feel about it. But just that
Colonization.
whole, yes,
Just put all of that shit in there.
yes,
How
how we're
certain black
treated, what
families
happens
treat,
in those,
what happens in those situations, how we're viewed, the mindset. You know what I'm saying?
And
like,
then he wakes up and it's like, it's
Yeah.
a dream.
yeah,
But was it really?
But was it really?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I thought that was dope.
Incredible.
You saw the second episode?
I did. I liked the first episode better, but the second episode was definitely dope too.
Everybody in blackface.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, he ain't doing it.
But he has been, that has been like one of my favorite series.
Yeah.
On on television and streaming and
Talk about different characters and
Mm-hmm.
knowing who your characters are and getting the right people for the characters. Like, come on,
Yes. Brilliant.
Lakeith.
Brilliant. Yeah, Lakeith is out there, man. He's
perfect for that part.
He's perfect for the part.
You know what I mean?
He's very eccentric. You know what I'm saying?
He is. He can.
Very eccentric. So that role fit him perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Okay.
I was gonna do the this and that, but I'm not gonna do that.
This and that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're not gonna do that.
All right. I get.
You want to do that?
I missed that.
Do you want to do
it? If we can't, we can't.
We can do it real quick.
Quick.
Writing or producing?
Producing.
Theater or streaming?
Theater.
Spike or Tarantino?
Tarantino.
Tracy Ellis Ross or Rosario Dawson?
I'll take a shot.
The Campaign or Superbad?
Superbad.
Okay. That's so dope.
And I said theater, but honestly, theater is like now it's nostalgic. It's like old, and I like that experience for certain films.
Yeah.
But I love streaming because
the convenience.
I think streaming is definitely, if there's a better, because it's really not better, but
right.
I would have to say streaming has a lot of advantages. You could, pause it, go get your drink. You can watch it a few times. You could do, you know what I'm saying? In the theater, you watch it once, you're done. You had the experience. Cool. But I still like that novelty. The novel, it's become novelty. Theaters are like CDs now.
Yeah.
Like if you have a CD, you still got a CD player in your car. Oh shoot, okay. You got CDs? What? So what?
All right, tell everybody where they can find you, your contact information.
You can find me in the club. No. You can find me. You can find me on social media at Global Media Savant. Also globalmediasavant.com, IG, Facebook, and you can hit up my personal IG. Karma Chameleon, like $1 million, Karma Chameleon, on IG, and that's it.
Cuz thank you for coming on my show.
Yeah. It was fun. This was fun, man.
I appreciate it.
We could talk forever.
I know.
Once LA hold up that 5-minute sign, it's like, yo. And I know he factored that in. He's like, I'm gonna hold this 5-minute sign up, but you know what? That 5 minutes, this is a black 5 minutes. I know it's gonna be 10 minutes. I'm gonna say 5. So really, we on time. So
So will you be a recurring guest?
Absolutely. I'll come back anytime you want me to come. And I'll have a lot more to share too.
Yes, you will.
So
thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Well, y'all can catch me on Filmmakers Lab on all social media, and I thank everyone for joining me and watching my podcast. Thank you.